Welcome to the Las Vegas Crime Lab. Please enter your name. To begin your orientation with Grissom, click on Start beneath the first case on the left.
Welcome to the CSI Crime Lab, Graveyard Shift. I'm Gil Grissom, and you must be the new intern. I know it's your first night, but we're short-handed and... Grissom. Yeah, Jim. We're just leaving. We've got a homicide. I know you've got good problem-solving skills or you wouldn't be here. You'll have to jump right in on this crime scene with me. John Webster said, "Death hath 1,000 doors to let out life." Let's find out which one our victim took.
The Location tab at the bottom of the screen allows you to... Good. Other crime scene locations will appear here as you uncover more places to visit. 3 CSI locations are available on the right, but we'll visit those later. For now, we'll go directly to the hotel. Good. Other crime scene locations will appear here as you uncover more places to visit. 3 CSI locations are available on the right, but we'll visit those later. For now, we'll go directly to the hotel.
First officer, fill us in.
Let's see, manager got a call from a guest complaining about noise. He checked it out, found the TV going pretty loud, and this young lady here who didn't exactly need it turned up. No signs of forced entry. Manager's name is Bert Suston. He's pretty bent out of shape, but cooperative enough. You can question him if you want. Wish I had more for you.
It's a start, and the crime scene will have plenty to say. Probably a good idea to start with our victim.
Throughout the investigation, you will often want to examine things more closely. To look at the body, move your pointer onto it and click. Excellent. Notice that when you passed the pointer over the body, it changed to a green arrow. This indicates that you can inspect something in greater detail.
Look at that. There's some bruising on her neck. These marks strongly suggest she was strangled, likely a violent killing. Perhaps there's more we can learn.
Notice the case file has been updated. This means that information has been added to a file on a suspect or victim. Click on the case file icon in the bottom right to look at it. Click on the case file icon in the bottom right to look at it. Case files hold a summary of everything you've learned about the suspects and victims you meet. This is the file for our victim. To look at the case file for the hotel owner, click on the Suspects tab. In addition to general information, suspect case files contain categories for means, motive, and opportunity. You will often need at least one of these filled to be able to get suspects brought in for an interrogation, and all of them for an arrest. Now, click on the Close button. Let's take a closer look now at the bruising Grissom mentioned. Move the pointer over the victim's neck and click. Notice the Tools tab is automatically selected on the toolbar at the bottom of the screen when you're close enough to use one. Tools are categorized into either Collection or Detection tools. Click on the Detection sub-tab. Rolling over any of the tools gives you a brief description of that tool. Find the UV light and double-click on it now. Find the UV light and double-click on it now. Find the UV light and double-click on it now. Double-clicking gets you a more detailed description of the tool. It looks like it might be the right one for this job. Click on Close. To use the UV light, click once to select it. Now, pass the UV light over the bruised area and click. Now, pass the UV light over the bruised area and click. Now, pass the UV light over the bruised area and click.
Deep bruising patterns suggest a ligature, sexual ritual, or premeditated murder.
To back out of this close-up view, move the pointer to the left or right-hand side of the screen and click. Notice the pointer changed to an exit arrow when you did that. Now, we'll look at collecting evidence. Click on the torn piece of cloth on the bed, left of the victim. Sometimes you'll need to search for trace evidence before collecting an object. In this case, select the magnifying scope under the Detection tools by clicking on it.
There's no prints here. We can't use that here.
Now pass the magnifying scope tool carefully over the cloth area to look for very small or hidden trace evidence. Looks like a tiny strand of hair. Whenever you find something with a magnifying scope, single-click on it for a closer look. Whenever you find something with a magnifying scope, single-click on it for a closer look. Whenever you find something with a magnifying scope, single-click on it for a closer look.
Just a hair, right? A tiny thing and yet so very big. Note, it is not the victim's hair color. Someone else was here, in close proximity to the deceased.
Select the tweezers by clicking on the Collection Tool sub-tab, then clicking on the tweezers. Now, move the tweezers over the hair and click. Evidence you collect is added to your evidence folder. To look at it, click on the Evidence tab now. Evidence is categorized here by type. The hair you just collected is a form of trace evidence. Click on the Trace Print sub-tab now. You can re-examine a piece of previously collected evidence here and review what you've learned about it. To re-examine the hair, double-click on the hair icon. These evidence descriptions will often update throughout the case, so check them regularly. Click on the Close button now. It would be a good idea to collect the torn sheet as well. We're a little too close right now, so exit this close-up view by clicking on either side of the screen. Good. Now under the Collection Tool tab, select the rubber gloves. Use the gloves to pick up the torn sheet by clicking on it.
Torn from the bed? Easily strangle someone with that. This could very well be our murder weapon.
Back out of this close-up view by clicking on either side of the screen. Click on the side of the screen one more time. Well done. Next, we should interview the hotel owner behind you. Pan around the crime scene by moving the cursor to the side of the screen, then click on the owner.
Look, I know a girl died and it's a shame, but I got a business to run. Bird Sustin, I manage the hotel. What do you want to know?
Questions will often be available for you to ask suspects and victims. The questions will vary depending on the evidence and information you've collected. To select a question, click it with your pointer.
Showgirl on the strip? Nice enough, never made no trouble. Kind of a regular here, made a half dozen visits over the past couple of weeks. No credit cards, strictly cash and carry, capiche? If she had company tonight, I don't know who. My business is minding my own business. We only give keys out to registered guests. My, patrons don't like to be dropped in on, catch my drift? And I got the only master key. No idea. First name was Kylie. Last, well, that kind of varied. Smith, Jones. Seems I remember her using a different name first time she filled out the check-in card. Sure, I figured you'd want to see it. There's an address on it, too. Now, do you mind? Cops hanging around ain't all that helpful for my business.
Exit the conversation by clicking on either side of the screen. Now let's look at that new bit of evidence. Click on Documents within your Evidence tab, then double-click the registration card. Click on Documents within your Evidence tab, then double-click the registration card. You have just found a new location. You'll want to visit it at some point. Close the pop-up. If you're stuck, you can ask for hints from your CSI partner. Find Grissom in the view above and click your pointer over him. Find Grissom in the view above and click your pointer over him.
What do you want me to look at?
Getting help with evidence will update the evidence description with a hint about it. From the Evidence tab, click and drag any piece of evidence over Grissom. To select a question, click it with your pointer. When you ask for a hint, you may learn something new or something you already know. However, all hints will count against you in your final performance evaluation. Click Close. Now, back out of this view by clicking on either side of the screen. That's the end of your training. The rest is up to you. You can process the crime scene further to find more clues, visit the CSI offices, or visit your new location. When you're ready to quit, hit the Escape key on your keyboard. Good luck!
This is an expensive bauble to leave behind. May rule out robbery as a likely motive. Initials KY engraved on it. This could help us establish Kylie's identity. Our killer may be leaving us a message. In ancient Greece, families put a coin in the mouths of their late loved ones to pay the ferryman to cross the river Styx. Could be our killer is related to our victim and has a bent for mythology, or maybe this is a final insult. Since the TV was on, somebody probably used this recently. Maybe the killer. Let's find out. We can't use that here. We can't use that here. We can't use that here. Try using a similar tool. There's nothing special there. We can't use that here. 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 Maybe our killer needed to wash his hands of this crime. Let's take a closer look. Some kind of stain on the sink here. We should try to detect what it is. We can't use that here. We can't use that here. We can't use that here. A bloodstain pattern, trying to tell its story. Nice find. If there was a struggle here, then why no obvious blood on the Vic? We should swab it. We should definitely have Greg take a look at this in the lab.
Hey, that's all I gotta say right now.
We can't use that here. 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 Try using a similar tool. We can't use that here. 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 Try using a similar tool. Ms. Strickland? Jenny Strickland?
Yes?
Gil Grissom, Las Vegas Crime Lab. My assistant and I would like to ask you a few questions.
Go ahead.
Ms. Strickland, a young woman was killed tonight. Apparently she filled out the hotel's check-in card using your name and address.
What? Mine?
That's right. We believe her first name was Kylie. Do you know anyone by that name?
Sorry, I don't know any Kylies. Anyone could have got my name and address out of the phone book.